by the time I graduated middle school, all of my friends wanted to go to like Daring High School. Like it's kind of how it is in Portland. So it's like everybody that graduates from Lincoln Middle School goes to Daring. Everybody that graduates from King Middle School goes to Casco Bay. But I knew that I wanted to like do something and not just go to the like this huge like almost like more than 1,000 student population kind of environment. And interestingly, actually, when I applied to go to Casco Bay, I didn't know that it was an expeditionary learning school, nor did I know that it was like there was a wait list. So like I think like during the summer, maybe like a few weeks before school started, I got this like acceptance letter, and I was really confused because I didn't think there was a chance of me not going to Casco Bay. So I was like really weirded out by it. But like I remember going to, because they do this like kind of like cool like ice cream social thing. So how Casco Bay is split up is like all the, obviously it's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and in the freshman class they're grouped into this like 14 to 17 students that are in like the advisor group, and those kids stay together until they graduate from the school. So I was with the same like 14, 15 kids from my freshman year until I graduated from Casco Bay. And obviously there are a lot more students, but that was like my core like advisor group. So those are the students that I was with the majority of the times. When we went on trips, like when we went on expeditions, I was with them. So there was this like sense of community that I think is definitely integral in like all expeditionary learning schools, but specifically from my experience at Casco Bay, that's one thing that I took away. So freshman year, we like this main focus was community. So we did this huge expedition that I think was like a really great start to high school in general. And we all worked together as a class, and it was about 70 of us as a freshman class, and we all worked together to present something to the entire class about who we were as a freshman class. So some people sang, some people danced. We all like wrote a poem together that we like shared in front of the whole school, and I think that was a way for our freshman class to say, hey, we're here, we're going to be here for the next 3 years, and this is who we are. And it was kind of like it was a cool way for the school to welcome us, but for us to like introduce ourselves to them. And I think that was like a really, really nice start to the whole thing. And from like my overall experience, I would say like my worldview, or like my little like fishbowl in the sense of it, like didn't really emerge until I went to Casco Bay. So like that's where I learned all of the societal issues and like all the social factors around me, and all the things that like influenced me and like kind of made me who I was. Obviously college definitely like heightened that, but I think like if I hadn't gone to Casco Bay, and if I hadn't gone to this expeditionary learning type of academic style, then I wouldn't have been able to connect what I was learning in the classroom to the outside world. And a great way of like to explain this is like, so my junior year we do this thing called public policy, and this is like, it was one of the most like intensive, like really hard expeditions that, or school projects that I think I've ever done. Like honestly, like even like in college, like that was harder than some things that I've done in college. Like you come into Casco as a freshman, and you like dread junior year because you know you're gonna have to do public policy. But like it's essentially like it's this thing where you choose a topic that you are either passionate about, that you're interested in, that you have no idea, that you want to deepen your understanding of, that's connected to the environmental or social world. So when I was a junior, it was just based on environmental issues. So you had to do energy issues or water issues, or issues that had to do with like climate change or like natural disasters, or like natural relief, stuff like that. But then now, talking to my some of my friends and some of my siblings that actually go to Casco Bay right now, they've gone into social issues. But when I was there, I did natural disasters and how they impact the people that are like the people that live through them. So I like during that time actually was when Hurricane Sandy, like a few years prior, happened, and like it like devastated a bunch of states, obviously in the New England area, as some of you guys may know. So like as we were starting this expedition, our end goal was to go to Queens, New York, in like the Rockaway Peninsula, which was the place that was most devastated in that area, and we were there for 1 week. So prior to that, we essentially researched our topic. We like got experts, we did proposals, we did like some sort of like issue or solution or resolution that we thought was good for this. So for example, like natural disasters, like I realized that a lot of the issues that were, a lot of the people that were impacted by this couldn't evacuate properly because of either like they didn't have access to vehicles or they didn't have the means to leave this place before it was devastated, and that was like a major issue in like Hurricane Katrina, for example. So my solution was for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, to have like its own kind of budget just for like evacuations, and although they may have had it, it wasn't to the extent that it needed to happen. So that was like my proposal or my solution. And a lot of other people, like I said, worked on water issues and like worked on their own other issues, like how solar energy could be like better than fossil fuels, stuff like that. But the thing that I learned personally about that whole like expedition was how something that we were working on in the classroom and like in the confines of our school was like impacting like real life people. So as we were working on that, we were also learning about interview skills and learning about talking to people, because we were going to document and interview the people that were devastated by Hurricane Sandy when we were going to go to New York. So this is called Junior Journey, and this like is still going on. It happened from the start of Casco Bay until now, and it's going to continue on, I think, forever, hopefully. But essentially, like, we learned interview skills, we learned how to talk to the people that were impacted by Hurricane Sandy, and like document their lives and like actually create an actual documentary, like a 3 to 5 minute documentary, bring it back to school, and then share it with like the greater Portland Casco Bay community. And like those are still available at Casco Bay if any of you guys want to see them. Like a bunch of different people, like our whole 70 people like junior class was split into 3 or 5 students. So one was the videographer, one was sound, one was the interviewer. I, of course, am really good with people, so I was the interviewer. So it's just kind of like, that's like how it was all split up. And it's really nice because like I still talk to that girl who was a sophomore at Rockaway High School, who was impacted by Hurricane Sandy and like impacted by that whole situation. So I think like, at least for me, like junior journey was when I realized like expeditionary learning is like very different from the traditional type, in the sense that like you actually see like what's happening around the world, and like going into college, like I was like much more aware of like the social factors and like situations and events and how the world around me was being impacted by things that were happening than a lot of my other peers. Like I am in class and like people talk about like events that happen, and like almost none of my classes or classmates know like what's going on or like how that was impacted, and I'm like, I learned that like freshman year of high school. So it's like it's really interesting. But definitely I'd say like if you guys can help out anyway, this Safe Passage organization or that school in Guatemala, do what you can, because it like 100% helps a lot of people. And like my sister right now is a sophomore at Casco Bay. My brother's a senior. I have a sister who's going to graduate from Lincoln Middle School next year, and she's also going to Casco Bay. So, and I have like 3 more siblings, and then we're all just going to graduate from Casco. So, yeah.
Well, thank you
Yes,
so much.